Well, hello, class. I'm Jacob Boyd, and this is my message or sermon about using household objects. And I have quite a few, and it's necessary for the certain thing that we're going to talk about today. As you can see, I'm wearing a very nice, fashionable Pittsburgh Steelers jersey. One, because they are the best, and two, because we're going to talk a little bit about preparing for sports, and at the same time preparing and how that relates to our Christian faith. And most of my children, or the children that attend the church here where I work at, they're athletes, and a lot of them, or most of them, are football players, softball players, soccer players, baseball players. And when I was a kid, it wasn't me. I guess I became an athlete, but these guys are crazy good, and I don't know what they're putting in the water here, but I guess I need to start drinking it. So anyway, yeah, let's just get started. We're going to be in Ephesians 6, 10 through 17 today, and I'll give you a little bit of a background story, or background on this. Paul is describing what it means to battle in your Christian warfare, your day-to-day lives. Paul includes that we're not at war with each other, but we are at war, or we're not at war with people, but we are at war with the spiritual principalities, spiritual beings of this world. And so in Ephesians 6, 10 through 17, he starts to give really good illustrations of what I'm going to do, of how to prepare. And so he uses different articles of battle gear, I guess you could say, to prepare his Christian troops for battle against the schemes of the devil and of the evil one. And so I'm just going to go ahead and read a little bit of it. I'm going to start at verse 13, Ephesians 6:13. It says, "This is why you must take up the full armor of God, so that you may be able to resist in the evil day, and having prepared everything to take stand. Stand, therefore," and this stuff. Sorry. So it says, "Stand therefore with truth like a belt around your waist." Here's my belt. And he's saying that the belt of truth, being able, staying true, being honest, and being true to God when no one else is watching. I think that's kind of what Paul is trying to say here. And relating that to an athlete, most athletes have to wear belts. Baseball players have to wear belts, and if they don't have that belt, then maybe their pants are just a little too big, and if they don't have that belt, then they can't perform well. So the next one is righteous like armor around your chest. Now, being that I don't really have chest armor, or a chest plate, if you will, I brought my vendor vest here, and so this is my vendor vest. I'm going to put it on because this is my righteous like armor around your chest. And it's not a very cooperative piece of clothing here, but I'm going to do the best I can. There we go. So this is my chest plate, or I'm sorry, righteous like armor for your chest. And so just like football players, they have to have that chest plate. They have to have those chest pads to protect them from hits and stuff that could injure them. But in the Christian life, righteous like armor, to be righteous is to be like God. And that's kind of our whole mission, is to be more and more like Him, to kind of sanctify ourselves, that our daily practices, just to be like Him more and more each day that we live. And it says, "And your feet sandaled with readiness for the gospel of peace." So here's my sandal. This is very accurate. This may be the exact same sandal that Jesus wore. I'm just kidding. So it says, "And your feet sandaled with readiness for the gospel of peace." And I think that means that for the Christian, not for the athlete, for the Christian, it means to be able to get up and go, to be able to be willing. So if God calls you to maybe like a bad neighborhood, or just the projects, if you will, that you wouldn't really fear, you wouldn't doubt that God's going to be with you. So to take you places that aren't necessarily in your comfort zone, take you out of your comfort zone, and sort of have those sandals of readiness to spread the gospel of peace. It's somewhere in the Old Testament, or maybe in the New Testament, I think, it says, how beautiful are the feet that take the gospel places. And so yeah, and so it's verse 16, it says, in every situation, take the shield of faith. So here's my Frisbee, but this is going to be my shield, because it's going to be rock solid. And it says, in every situation, take the shield of faith, and with it you will be able to extinguish the flaming arrows of the evil one. So when the evil one throws arrows at my my ultimate Frisbee here, spiritually they will not be buying. And so what it means by faith is to have faith, and I guess is to grow in your knowledge of God, grow in Him so that you know Him more, so that you may be able to have more faith in Him. So I guess in the sports world, I guess it would be kind of like the chest, like the chest plate. Again, that where people try to hit you, in this area, you'll be protected. And so the next one, it says, verse 17, it says, take the helmet of salvation. So here's my helmet. It's a Red Sox hat. It was a gift. So don't think that I'm, bandwagon fans, anything like that. This is a gift. So this is my helmet of salvation. And so without the helmet of salvation, you're not really in the kingdom yet. You have to have salvation. You have to be saved. And that's crucial. Probably the most crucial thing about being a Christian is you have to have salvation to be a Christian. So in the sports world, baseball players wear hats, softball players wear hats. Probably the most easy thing to relate to children when I'm talking about wearing the hat of salvation and wearing the hat. Most importantly, you can't play football if you don't have a helmet. It's a good way to get really, really injured if you don't have your helmet on in football. Probably the most valuable piece of equipment in football. And in the same way, it is the most valuable piece of equipment when you're a Christian. When you become a Christian, you have to have that initial salvation so that you can begin on your journey. And it says the sword of the Spirit, which is God's Word. So here is my Bible that I've been reading from. It says God's Word is sharper than any double-edged sword. Any double-edged sword. And this is our only offensive weapon. And so it says, and the sword of the Spirit, which is God's Word. And so when I relate that to any kind of sports plan, I guess that could be your game plan. There's really no swords in baseball, football, softball, soccer. At least there shouldn't be. If there is, somebody's misled. And so it could be your game plan. You have to have a game plan to win. In baseball, you have to have signs. When you're stealing the base, like the signs, those kind of signs. In football, you got to execute your running plays good, or well, I should say, like the Steelers do all the time. On defense, you got to practice and you got to prepare. You got to watch the other team maybe before you play them. Maybe that's just a little too extreme for children's sports, but you have to have a game plan. Maybe that's more for the coaches than for the children. But you have to have that game plan so that when you play the other team, you have a weapon, which is your game plan. Which in your Christian walk, it's your sword of the Spirit. It's God's Word. And if you don't have God's Word, if you're not equipped with God's Word, then you're kind of up the river, really without a paddle. And so yeah, I would like to thank everybody for watching this, and I look forward to meeting all of you as you have met me. Have a good week.